Fox News. Breaking news.
Ro Khanna just said Elon Musk needs to answer for 4.5 million children and should be subpoenaed, investigated, and dragged before Congress. That's the line. It's not a typo. It's not a slip. A Democrat congressman grabbed dead children and swung them like a club to protect the foreign aid cash machine. Elon Musk fired back with 6 words that landed like a brick through the stained glass lie. Time to sue this liar. Good. Because once you hear what DOGE actually demanded from USAID contractors, and once you see the $550 million bribery scream already blowing up, Ro Khanna's meltdown stops looking moral. It looks terrified. And this matters because Ro Khanna is trying to criminalize transparency. DOGE's standard was brutally simple. Provide contact information for the recipients of aid so the money could be verified. That's it. Names, contacts, proof of a human being actually getting the cash. And for that, Khanna screamed that Elon Musk possibly sentenced 4.5 million children to death and demanded subpoenas, investigations, and political revenge once Democrats take power. That is government by emotional blackmail. Meanwhile, the Trump administration's Justice Department already cracked open a USAID bribery scheme tied to more than $550 million in contracts, and a USAID official, plus several executives pleading guilty. Guilty. Not smeared, not guessed at. Guilty. So the same Democrat machine that treats USAID like sacred scripture panics the second anyone asks for the receipts. That panic tells you everything. This fight is not about compassion. It's about whether American taxpayers keep funding untraceable foreign money flows while politicians like Ro Khanna pose as saints and torch anybody who audits the pipeline. You see, Ro Khanna wants you too guilty and too scared to ask one basic question. If the shelves empty tomorrow, how long could your family last without the store? If your answer is less than a month, get moving with Prepare with Gary at My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with over 3 million satisfied customers, and their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply comes with an additional week of food for free at preparewithgary.com. This is the best long-term storable food from the most trusted folks in the business. You get at least 2,000 calories a day, real meals, real ingredients, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors, and shelf life measured in decades. For disruptions, a month is baseline readiness. So lock in your free week of emergency food now at preparewithgary.com. Receipts matter at home as well. Now here's a detail Ro Khanna hoped you would never connect to his sermon. While he rants about billionaires and sacrifice, Katie Miller says Khanna logged 4,300 trades last year, pushed $59 million in total trade volume, and lives in a $9.5 million D.C. area home. Then he turns around and demands Elon Musk get hauled in for asking aid contractors for contact information. We're going to put all the receipts on screen because once you see this stack side by side, the whole sanctimony acts collapse in real time. This is Elon Musk. You see it right here. Time to sue this liar. So Elon not mincing any words at all. Here's the post spelling out exactly who he's talking about and the claim that set him off. Trump Daily Post. Elon Musk just said it's time to sue this liar, referring to Democrat Ro Khanna, who stated publicly that Musk needs to answer for 4.5 million kids sentenced to death over DOGE cuts in government. So that summary names Democrat Khanna. Now Khanna makes the accusation himself, claiming Musk has to answer for millions of children and calling for subpoenas. Here's the clip in question that looks like may end up with Ro Khanna being sued into oblivion.
I do believe that once we take power, there has to be accountability. There needs to be accountability for Elon Musk. You know, they're celebrating that he created 4,400 millionaires, but they don't talk about the 4.5 million children around the world who he possibly sentenced to death by dismantling USAID. He needs to answer for that. He needs to be subpoenaed. He needs to face investigation. He needs to answer for what he did with DOGE. That it's not just let's move on. And we will use the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee to hold people accountable who violated the law on ICE and abused power with ICE, who violated the law in killing people on boats in the Caribbean, who violated the law when it came to Iran and some of the strikes, who violated the law with DOGE. There will be accountability. There needs to be accountability before reconciliation. And certainly there are voices like Robert Garcia, Jamie Raskin, myself, who are for aggressive oversight and investigation, including of the Epstein class.
Looks like there'll be an aggressive investigation into you, Ro Khanna. Going straight to the threats and investigation next, DOGE allies fire back with the corruption angle at USAID and ask why the man pushing transparency is the one under attack. So DOGE designer says Musk calls for the arrest of Ro the Robber Khanna. U.S. Department of Justice announced that USAID official and several executives pleaded guilty in a bribery scheme involving more than $550 million in contracts. Yet Ro Khanna is claiming Elon should be investigated over DOGE spending cuts. The standard applied by DOGE was very simple. If taxpayer money is being sent as aid, there should be a way to verify who received it and make sure the money isn't being stolen or misused. The DOJ is uncovering corruption connected to USAID contracts. Ro Khanna is attacking the person pushing transparency. Elon simply asked where the taxpayer money was going and whether it was actually reaching the people it was meant to help. Ro the Robber Khanna should be in prison. So that turns the spotlight from Musk to Khanna. Now Elon sharpens it with 6 brutal words. No, 3 actually. A fresh claim. Ro the Robber is all Elon Musk posted. Elon brands him as Ro the Robber and points to the money. Up next, Katie Miller lays out the trading numbers while Khanna is caught once again talking about how to spend Elon's fortune. Ro is the #1 stock trader in Congress. Last year, he reported 4,300 trades with $59 million in trade volume. Also recently purchased a $9.5 million home in the D.C. area.
But think about this, Jennifer. For 5% tax one time on Elon Musk, you could have universal child care in America, $10 a day for every family. That's one person, one time, 5%, and he wouldn't even miss it because the market would grow by 15% and his wealth would still grow. And yet they're opposed to something as basic as that.
Disgusting. Trying to spend Elon's money. So he loves taxing billionaires when the billionaire is Elon Musk. Now another post hits the hypocrisy, tying his wealth tax to his own massive fortune. Ro is worth $200 million, has $600 million in trade volume so far during his time as congressman. He's a liar, a hypocrite, inside trader, and fraudster. If he wants to fund these causes, he should be the first to give up from his private fortune.
But think about this, Jennifer.
So the populist pitch starts looking a lot like insider privilege. Next, Elon answers the millions of children line head on, saying DOGE only asked one basic question: where did the money go? Elon Musk mic drops people like Ro Khanna, who claimed DOGE killed millions of children. All DOGE did was require a contract with the aid recipients. Listen to this.
The president, and very hard to cut things that are obvious waste and fraud, like ridiculous waste and fraud. What I discovered that it's extremely difficult even to cut very obvious waste and fraud from the government, because the government has to operate on like who's complaining. Like if you cut off payments to fraudsters, they immediately come up with the most sympathetic sounding reasons to continue the payment. They don't say, please keep the fraud going. They say, they're like, you're killing baby pandas. And we're like, meanwhile, there's no baby pandas are dying. They're just making it up. The forces are capable of coming up with extremely compelling, sort of heart-wrenching stories that are false, but nonetheless sound sympathetic. And that's what happened. So it's like, perhaps I should have known better. But I thought, wait, let's try to cut some amount of waste and fraud from the government.
So Musk's point is simple: verify the aid before cash keeps flowing. Now you see his own post where he says money was being routed to corrupt politicians and names Khanna directly. Here's Elon Musk. The standard applied by DOGE was very simple and easy. Provide contact information for the recipients of aid so we can confirm it is not fraudulent. The reality is that money was being sent to corrupt politicians under the guise of aid. Liars and stock insider traders like Ro the Robber should be in prison. So after the prison warning, the case against Khanna broadens beyond DOGE. Critics hammer him as a wealth tax hypocrite, even challenge him to write his own check first. Apple lamps. Ro Khanna, the communist economic populist, stands exposed as the ultimate wealth tax hypocrite. He demands a 5% levy on American wealth while day trading $100 million across 3,000 plus individual trades every year and sitting on a $232 million fortune, 1,200 times the median household net worth. The same congressman who called inequality the moral failure of our time has not written his own voluntary $11.6 million check to the Treasury. That single payment could have built nearly 10 feet of California's failed high-speed rail boondoggle. Instead, Khanna wants IRS agents invading private homes to catalog family heirlooms, artwork, jewelry, vintage comic books, and Mickey Mantle rookie cards. Wealth tax schemes have always begun with a tax on the rich and ended by devouring the middle class. His refusal to pay first while aggressively trading in the markets he wants to punish proves the entire agenda is fraudulent class warfare from the penthouse of communist headquarters. So the hypocrisy charge lands because it hits Khanna where he postures most. Now the backlash gets more blunt with a Texas-style message for a congressman many Americans think got caught pointing the finger first. Ro the Robber wants people to believe that Elon Musk starved 4.3 million kids by cutting off the money flowing to these so-called NGOs. The problem is many Americans are asking where all that taxpayer money was actually going in the first place. When the guy accused of lining his pocket starts pointing fingers at everyone else, people tend to notice. We have a saying in Texas, mess with the bull and you get the horns, and of course, enter the memes.
Ro, the robber, we have the proof. This is all lies. You can't prove anything. How much did you steal? Where's the money from? It's over, Ro. The people know. You'll never take me! Stop! Where are you going with all that money? It's mine! You can't have it! Ro is the robber! This is a scandal!
Yeah, it is a scandal indeed. So after the heat and Khanna trying to flip the script, now watch him answer Musk directly with a debate challenge and claim that he's the one defending free speech. He posted, Elon Musk, let's debate. You game? I'm for free speech, not lawfare.
Hey, Elon Musk threatened to sue me, and he called on the Justice Department to put me in prison. That's right. The world's richest person has spent all day tweeting going after me. Why? Because I cited an academic study that his DOGE cuts may lead to the deaths of millions of children overseas. You know, Elon, I thought you were a free speech guy. Why not debate me on these issues instead of threatening lawfare? You're not going to be able to intimidate me. I'm the guy who stood up to the Epstein class and worked with Massey to get the Epstein files released. I'm the guy who stood up against AIPAC and called out a genocide. And I'm the guy who stood up to billionaires in my district who ran someone against me and still called for a wealth tax. So I'm not going to be intimidated or silenced. I need your help. I need the help of folks to sign this petition and help me stand up to power and fight for truth and justice.
Okay, Ro, whatever you say. So let's see, did Elon respond to Ro Khanna? So far, not seeing any responses and all, but of course, he looks like he's definitely getting roasted in the replies. So the moral center of the story sits inside one sick reference from Ro Khanna. Elon Musk needs to answer for 4.5 million children and needs to be subpoenaed. Ro Khanna didn't bring receipts. Elon Musk did. Elon Musk said DOGE only required contact information for aid recipients so funds could be verified. Then the Justice Department blew open the guilty pleas on a USAID bribery scheme tied to more than $500 million in contracts. That contrast buries Khanna. A man tied to the party of the aid pipeline screamed murder when someone asked for names on the delivery list. Then that same man, blasted as a giant congressional traitor, tried to hide behind free speech theater and a debate challenge. No. Ro Khanna launched a slander campaign because transparency hits his side like sunlight hits vampires. So here is the line the patriots should draw and never surrender. No more emotional hostage-taking from Khanna, Jamie Raskin, Robert Garcia, or any Democrat who waves starving children in front of the camera every time someone audits the books. The Attorney General should keep digging through the USAID pipeline. House Republicans should hammer congressional trading, and every contractor, middleman, and politician who treated foreign aid like a slush fund should face exposure under the Trump administration, not protection from the press. Elon Musk's answer still stands because it fits this moment perfectly. Time to sue this liar. Exactly. If Ro Khanna wants subpoenas, start with the people who handled the money. Start with the guilty pleas. Start with the trade records. Start with the mansions and the sanctimony. So share this with someone who still thinks asking for contact information is cruelty. It's called oversight, and the crooks hate it for a reason. And you know what I hate? When you do not get the notifications that you deserve, the ones you asked for. So that's why I set up this number. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. Thousands and thousands of patriots are already on the insider list, and they are staying informed when YouTube has other plans. So make sure you take advantage and get on this list immediately. And why don't you celebrate with the Next News Network? America 250 is upon us. Check out the merch shelf below this video, or go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.